you offer handwritten letters, and do you have a better, do you see a better conversion rate over handwritten letters versus postcards? But before you answer that, do you recommend, when I was doing wholesaling back in the day, before you guys, any of these companies existed, I actually had the best luck personally with, and I've shared this with some of the people I coach, my best conversion rate was a very simple letter that just was no company, no logo, no business. I would actually put Christmas card return labels of, of my return envelope. And it was a very simple letter that just said, I'm an investor in the area. I'm looking to buy more properties. It was 3 to 4 sentences, and that was it. And I had the highest conversion rate from those when they would call back. But I'm just curious your perspective of this.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's funny. I would say we do see higher conversion rate on handwritten letters in general. You through the app, you can do postcards are the most common. Those are the 55-cent options. You can actually do a ballpoint pen handwritten letter through the app as well. So you can, that's one option that is, it's an add-on. It's like $175, I believe, if you're at our pro level to do those. So those are going to be, more expensive for sure. But the conversion rate, like the response rate we see from that is definitely higher too. So I would say experiment with both of those, throw in a handwritten letter every so often, maybe do one of those with the rest of your overall campaign, just to test it out. And really, like, the answer to a lot of this stuff, it is going to depend market to market, and it's going to depend. There's a lot of factors here that you may or may not be taking into consideration. So you're never going to know until you really try it out and really experiment and look at the data and figure out, like, okay, every time I close a deal, look back at that deal and see, like, why did I add to the CRM? Like, what did I look for? What neighborhood was it in? What was, what was wrong with the house that made me do that? How did I get in touch with them? How often did I follow up with them? Look through all the factors that led to that success. And each time you get a deal lost or a deal won, use that as an opportunity to learn from that and be able to get better at everything else you're doing, and, really optimize everything else you're doing. So you can try out those handwritten letters, see how that's getting, what kind of response you're getting with that. See if it's, is it with is it absentee owned properties? Is it, vacant, or, really kind of, experiment with a variety of different owners and marketing channels and things like that. And every time you close a deal, look back at what's working and try to do more of that.
Yeah, I agree so much. And, and I don't know if your app does this, but if you guys are not split testing and doing A/B testing of different types of letters, and if it's, for example, if it's an older person and you're doing small cursive handwriting, they may not be able to read it and they may throw it away just because of that. I mean, it's also, there's a psychology of color, right? A lot of, so there's so much psychology that goes into advertising and marketing that it's not just, if some people say it's a lot of money to do these, the handwritten letters. Well, yeah, but if you're specifically going after a certain target and you have a high conversion rate with that target and it's working, then why wouldn't you just add more dollars to it and get more of these targets? Because if you're not split testing and you're not doing different type of model testing on your marketing strategies, you're not going to know what works. I mean, it can be a color. I mean, it's even down to the font. If it's New Times Roman and the bottom of the font connects to the next letter, there's a whole psychology in that because your eyes will follow the letters. So you really need to split test. Don't just assume because it worked in another city or another country or another type of person that same message and marketing campaign is going to work to another. The question, I was wondering about something. Do you guys tie into anything with social media, with doing retargeting ads or anything like that from the content information you get from people? Or is that a whole other marketing strategy?
Yeah, like I highly recommend that strategy, but you'll have to manually go through it, where you do get a lot of property owner information. So it wouldn't be hard to run with that and retarget on Facebook. But you would need that middleman to like, an agency or yourself to run those campaigns. Yeah.
What is your perspective, Matt, on people having a website, and what do you think should be on that website for potential sellers to go look and see?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, having any kind of online presence is gonna be helpful. Like I think, putting anything like that online for you to be seen as more credible. Like, I always highly recommend doing anything that's gonna help you be more personable and help the person receiving your marketing message to see the person behind who's sending it, right? Like people are gonna have a much higher response rate if they see, even things like on your signature, doing a picture of you with your family or you with a dog or making just more approachable in general, where you can, have them look online at a landing page or at a website that talks about your story and talks about, why you got into real estate investing or and things like that are going to go a long way versus just getting some, corporate looking, postcard with no more information. And, you're less approachable. You're more intimidating when that happens. So we see a higher response rate if people are going to, be more personable from that perspective. And then, outside of that, do anything to extend their brand. So, online's a really good example of like, creating something to have people follow up and find out more information about you.
Yeah, I mean, look, folks, at the end of the day, people are going to do business with you because you've established the know, the like, and the trust.
Yep.
And that's done online, right? So before they've even talked to you, I guarantee you that they've Googled you and they want to know, like, are you ripping them off? Who are you? Are you a credible person? So if you don't have anything on there, don't think that that helps you, right? Some people say, like, oh, I don't want to look like I'm a business. Well, people are trusting their emotional, reaction of whether or not you are a legitimate person or not. So establishing that know, like, and trust by having Google reviews, having a website. And I mean, for a website, the only reason a website exists is it's a conversion tool. It's a reason for someone to raise their hand and say, you know what, I trust this person, I want to know more, and I fill out the contact form. That's the only reason a website exists. And so if you are not establishing that trust, I guarantee you they are looking for you. And if you have a website, they've already gone through it before they've even contacted you. If you can establish that know, like, and trust before you've even spoken to them, the transaction is that much easier because they already trust you. They've already seen videos of you. They've seen testimonials of people that you helped. All of that is they don't want to, nobody wants to look stupid, especially if they're in a situation that they're emotionally losing a property or they've got a problem. They want to know that whoever they're talking to, they can trust. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go online and see, are you a trustworthy person? So if you don't have a website and you don't have a marketing and you don't have these things, I would strongly suggest you do that, because just because you know how to flip a deal does not mean that anyone's going to trust you enough to do the transaction with you. And being the cheapest person out there is not going to work either, because that just means you're going to make no money and you'll be out of business quicker the other way. So I think that making sure that you focus some time on, again, establishing the know, like, and trust of a transaction before they actually contact you is very, very important in this business, in any business really, but this one for sure.